Hi, I'm Randy Altman with Post Perspective. We're here with Mark Ross from GridMarkets. Welcome.
Hi, Randy. Thanks for having me.
We're here to talk about the world of animation, visual effects, virtual production, AI, machine learning, the whole bit. But first, I wanted to talk about what GridMarkets does. Can you tell everybody a bit about what you do?
Sure. In a nutshell, we're a cloud rendering solution. So we have plugins that go into your favorite 3D software. Once those are installed, which takes a minute or two, you can, from your 3D software interface, submit complex jobs to us. And it's a very simple interface. You specify the number of machines you want to run on, what configuration of machines you want to run, where your source files are for your project, and where you want the results to be returned. And that's pretty much it. And then off it goes. You get a real-time dashboard, which shows the progress of your submissions, and you can interrogate them. You can go deep into the logs if you want on them, but you manage all that then post-submission. And then as the frames are being completed, they come back to your designated directory, and that's it.
Okay. And can you talk about how long the rendering takes? I'm assuming there are different tiers. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But remember back in the day, people would be like, okay, I'm rendering. I'm going to go get some coffee, maybe smoke a cigarette, that kind of thing. So can you talk about the speeds of the rendering?
Yeah, so one of the big advantages of our service, and frankly, any cloud service, the promise of cloud is it allows you to offload things from your local machines or your local area network and move those workloads somewhere else. So as that happens, that keeps your local machine and your local resources free to do other things like create scenes, for example. So first big advantage is your local machines are not being tied up after you submit. Second is that you can run on one to many machines on GridMarkets. And obviously, the more machines you spread your rendering request across, the faster it will come back, simply because it's running faster because it's in parallel. And thirdly, you can stack jobs. So you might have not just one submission you want to render, but many. And those can all run in parallel on GridMarkets. And GridMarkets has ample resources to allow you to run as many machines or as many submissions as you want. So yeah, the days of submitting a render to your local machine, going outside, smoking a cigarette or whatever it is you do, and coming back an hour or two or whatever it might be. Sometimes, frankly, depending on the complexity, it could be weeks. In the meantime, your office is heating up and you're wasting a lot of time. Those days are over. So you just submit to us. It comes in, you see the job being processed, and the results come back. It's very simple.
Okay. And can you talk a little bit about what software your users are employing to create the visual effects? So are you open to everyone?
Anyone can use our service, yes, and we have a whole range of folks who use our service, from large studios to mid and small size studios. Universities use our platform, students use our platform, and it's anyone who uses the major 3D software solutions like Houdini, Maya, 3ds Max, Cinema 4D, Blender, Nuke, and then the renders that go along with that: Redshift, V-Ray, RenderMan, Mantra, obviously, and so on. So if you're using those, and frankly, it's very likely you are, because that's what is most used in the industry, then GridMarkets can help you and support your submission.
Okay. And you guys have been doing this for a bit. It's I mean, with the pandemic and everybody working remotely and things going to the cloud, you were there before all this began. Can you talk about how this year has changed, what you see coming?
Well, it's for GridMarkets, it's changed everything. The GridMarkets doors and windows are rattling at the moment because of COVID. COVID has forced everyone to consider non-local solutions, cloud solutions, regardless of what industry you're in, right? And the same was true for the media and entertainment industry. Studios before COVID had the option of doing things locally, but after COVID, many of them just didn't have that option. We had, as an example, there were many universities whose students were locked out of the university resources, and they couldn't complete their final projects. And we got calls from very panicked universities saying, what do we do? Can you help us? And yes, we can help them, and we did help them. Same was true for studios whose artists were unable to physically return to the studio. So there was this very frustrating and threatening situation that arose because of COVID. But the cloud solutions came to the rescue, and ours did as well. So as a consequence of that rush, the demand that has come to GridMarkets has dramatically increased. And thankfully, we had prepared for it. I have to say, we weren't anticipating COVID, but we were always anticipating that the demand for our service would continue to rise. And so architecturally, we anticipated that, and we anticipated that from the processes that we have designed to ultimately serve the end users. And we built those processes in a way that would scale. So we've withstood that significant demand increase. And it's been, frankly, it's been very exciting for us. It's really propelled GridMarkets forward and in a significant way. So while the COVID situation is tragic, it's been a boon for GridMarkets business and the customers that have come our way.
I also think for cloud-based companies in general, people that were sitting on the fence worried about protection of data and security, I think they had no choice but to actually just jump in
Yes.
full force. So have you seen that as well? Have people been asking you about security? How do you allay any fears?
Yeah, so I sort of see the market in two major segments from the security point of view. There are those who care very, very much about it, and those who are not so concerned about it. There's a lot, frankly, there's a lot of content that's created where they don't really are so concerned about the security that goes into delivering that content and rendering and simulating that content. But there are, as I said, there are many customers who are super, super sensitive about that. And not just the security, but also the ability to reliably return a result. If you think about it, particularly for large studios who are doing very demanding shots and need a trusted partner to get that shot back in the time frame that they have and in the budget they have, it's a big ask, and it's a big trust. It's a big trust factor, I guess. They need to be able to feel confident that not only are you going to securely manage the content that they're going to give to you, but also to return it. So yes, there have been many customers of ours who have been concerned about that in the initial relationship that we established with them, and we take them through our security model. The architecture of GridMarkets is designed to be, frankly, ultra secure. There's a number of things we do to address that. One is GridMarkets doesn't actually have any of its own machines. We're built on top of very secure cloud providers like Oracle and Google and others. And we are very selective about the cloud providers that we partner with, because they, not only do we have to be secure, but they have to be secure. And so we go through a vetting process of ensuring that. And there's many other technical things that we do to ensure that the compute resources that we're using on behalf of your submission, Randy, are inaccessible to anyone else. And there's a barrier, there's a logical barrier between the resources that are used on behalf of our customers and the rest of the world. So there's a page on our website that addresses this at a high level. We also have some one-pagers if anyone's interested in the details of this. Just drop us a line at support@gridmarkets.com, and would be happy to share that with you and take you through it. But it is, to your point, yes, it's a super important topic.